Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing the difference between new construction versus resale. So if you are looking to purchase a home and you are just so unsure on which route to go, whether you're buying a new construction home or if you should buy a resale home, this is really going to help narrow it down for you. And now what I mean by a new construction home, that means you are buying directly from the builder. So some of the builders we have here in town are Meritage Homes, D.R. Horton, Lennar Homes, KB Homes, and a few other builders, but that means you're buying directly from them. So we go to the model homes, we go to the sites, we tour the homes. Nobody has ever lived in the home before. You would be the very first person. That is a new construction home versus resale. And now that can still be a new home. It could be something that was built a few years ago, but somebody has lived in that home. So that means resale, you are buying from a seller. So it could be a home that was built in the 1900s, 1950s, 60s, 2024 or 23, but somebody has lived in it. So that is resale. So we're really going to be comparing the differences on what could potentially make the better difference for you and what's going to just make sense for you. Now you'll want to make sure you stay until the very end of the video because there is a huge deal breaker for me and for a lot of my first-time home buyers or just buyers in general that really make it such a great option for buying in today's current marketplace. So you'll want to make sure you watch until the very end, but let's get into the video. Up first, we have maintenance and efficiency. So one thing that I am really noticing and what I think a lot of the new construction builders are really priding themselves on right now is how energy efficient they are making their homes. And in the long term, that really means that the energy efficiency of the home makes it a lot cheaper in utilities. So they're just using way better materials. Some of the builders are using spray foam insulation, which really helps keep the house cool. So it really creates a space in that crawl attic space where a lot of your HVAC ductwork is. And so typically it helps so that it doesn't get as hot in the home. So especially being in Tucson, in Arizona, where we are dealing with scorching hot summers and your energy bills tend to be a little bit higher in the summer because your AC is on blast and you're trying to cool down the house. What really helps with these new homes is that either if they have the spray foam insulation, but just the newer material. They're just making it so much cooler in those homes. And then besides that, you know, there's brand new systems, brand new ductwork, brand new HVAC units, double pane windows, everything is just brand new. So it keeps the cost of your monthly payments a lot lower. A lot of them, actually I think all of them right now, are smart homes. Really kind of intertwines that new technology, makes it an easier home to kind of deal with and function with today's technology. So whether you are hooked to your smartphone, if you want to control your garage or your thermostat from your phone, you can do that, which I think is really great. Majority of them are offering all of those features where it is just a plug and play and you are basically living within a smart home. But besides that, you know, it's those lower energy bills. Now compared to a resale home, and again, this is all just by, you know, comparison of certain homes. I'm not saying all resale homes are like this, but you know, if you are getting an older home, a lot of them do have or haven't had updates to their windows or their HVAC unit. So that could be anywhere between their single pane windows. And now I grew up with single pane windows and swamp cooling, which was not fun during the summer or monsoon seasons. But since my parents did get a HVAC unit and actually got air conditioning in, they still have their single pane windows. So their 1970s home is functioning with single pane, but you know, that air, the HVAC and the AC works a little bit harder. So, you know, it just takes a lot longer for the house to cool down or to really keep the cool and the insulation within the house. So essentially that then leads to higher bills. So that's one thing to keep in mind is when you're really comparing the efficiency, the maintenance and all of that versus a brand new home, you're getting everything brand new. Versus a resale home, there might be some things here and there that might have been updated, but then there might be some older issues like a roof, HVAC unit, plumbing, electrical, you never know. So that's one thing to keep in mind with cost savings and then efficiency. Before moving on to the next part, I did want to mention, if you are looking to relocate to Tucson, or if you're already in Tucson and looking to buy or look into another home, I'd love to help you. I am a licensed realtor here in the state of Arizona. I'm going to put my contact information on the screen. Go ahead and screenshot that, save that for later. Give me a call, text, or email. We can set up a one-on-one call and discuss some of your needs and wants here in Tucson. I'd love to help you and just be of assistance. But let's go ahead and talk about our next point, which is going to be neighborhoods. Now, with the new construction homes, at least primarily in Tucson, it might be different elsewhere, but in Tucson, majority, if not all of your new construction homes are not going to be within the city limits of Tucson. They're going to be in your outlying towns. So a lot of those bigger master plan communities that are currently building are going to be a little bit on the outskirts. Now, those are the towns of Marana, Sahuarita, Vail. There are some on the northwest side of Tucson, a little bit in Oro Valley, but not in your central city area. Now, when I say you have somewhat of a commute, for some people that might not be that bad, because for me or for people in Tucson, a commute from Marana to central Tucson is about 25 minutes. So it's really not that bad for a lot of people who are used to longer commutes, like a 45-minute commute to an hour. That's not really the case here for these new construction. So they're in more of a suburban area. So you are living more in the suburbs with more of the communities. So like pools, splash pads, community centers, more of that feel. But that also then leads to a little bit of smaller lots. And that kind of comes with the territory with a new construction home. For the most part, you're in these master plan communities. They're going to be on less than 1/4 of an acre, and you know your neighbors, you see your neighbors, you're familiar with them. Compared to a resale home, there is just going to be more establishment in the neighborhood. You're gonna have more mature trees, you're gonna have more mature just vegetation in general, and the option to buy a bigger lot. So it might be in a neighborhood that is closer to the University of Arizona or Banner Health Center, and you're going to get a lot that is 1/2 of an acre or a little bit more, but it was built in the 1960s, and you have sidewalks and you have more space between your neighbors. Or like neighborhoods like the Catalina foothills, where you can get a few acres of land, but then of course the cost and the price tag goes up. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for space and really not those cookie cutter homes like you get with new construction homes, and I would definitely say resale is definitely a better option. But if you're okay with that, if you're okay living a little bit outside of town, a little bit closer to your neighbors, I think it's another great option as well. It just depends on the neighborhood and what you're primarily looking for when it comes to lot, spacing, all of that. Next, we're going to be talking about more of the modern designs versus characteristic and charm. Now, when you're buying a new construction home, you, at least primarily in Tucson, unless you are doing a full custom build, you really have the option to make it into whatever you want. But when you're buying more of the master plan community spec homes, you really have more limitation, but they give a really great option of designs. So a lot of them, rarely with these homes in the master plan communities are you going to design centers. That's going to be more for the semi-custom or custom homes, which reach more into a higher price point. If you're looking more in the Marana, Sahuarita, Vail area, so builders like Meritage, D.R. Horton, those homes, they really give you the pre-planned design packages. So it could be design package A, B, C, D, but you're getting some really great options. You're gonna get the beautiful tile flooring with your either it's granite or quartz countertops with your 42-inch cabinets. So it's going to be those really updated modern designs that so many people are loving with the open floor plan. So really up to date with their light fixtures, water fixtures, all of that. You're getting a brand new home. It's gonna be beautiful, modern, very contemporary, and up to really those 2024 standards. Now, if that's not something you're necessarily wanting, and of course, they really keep them very, I don't want to say basic, but they keep it very clean and simple so that you can add your own touch to it after you move in. But if that's not something that is really up your alley, resale, you have more options. You're going to get more charm, more characteristics, and you can find a home that has been fully remodeled that is a 1960s ranch style home with land, but those are far and few to come across. But not saying it's impossible, but some are gorgeously updated. Some have that gorgeous charm that you don't necessarily want or need to change. So it really just depends. If you're not wanting that, 2024 modern new construction look, resale might be the best option because it's just going to give you way more creativity on your end if you do buy resale, because they don't really make the homes like they used to back then. So it really just depends. And again, it could be a home that was built in 2010 and it just looks a little bit different than the ones that are being built in 2024. It really just comes down to preference. If you are not wanting an open floor plan and you like more of the situated rooms, then you're gonna wanna go for an older resale home. It really just comes down to preference. Next, let's talk about hidden issues. Now, thankfully with new construction, majority of the time, unless you are buying a quick move-in home, you are along the process from pouring the slab to the end finish touches where you go in and you have inspections throughout the entire thing. You see the house being built. And again, with new construction, there are warranties. So you have your first year warranty, your 5-year warranty, your 10-year warranty. You're buying a brand new home. It is highly unlikely, not saying impossible, but highly unlikely that you will have crazy, awful issues with that home. And luckily, if not, you do have coverage, you have warranties on all those major systems. So that's a huge saver when it comes to new construction and hidden issues. Again, not saying that it's impossible to have foundational issues or problems, but for majority of the 10 years that you own it, you are covered, you are safe, you don't have to worry about it. Now with resale, there are some hidden issues that could pop up, and that could be something, hopefully, that when you are doing inspections while you are in the process of buying the home, that you are getting all your inspectors out there. And that's why it's so important that you get a home inspection, a sewer scope inspection, HVAC. If it is an older home, potentially electrical, so anything that is a historic home, so the 1960s, 50s, 40s, or older, I highly recommend plumber, electrical, a general home inspector, roof, because those homes are built so differently. And the last thing you want, I did have a client that had told me years ago they bought a home in one of the historic communities. They didn't do a sewer scope or have a plumber go out and look after they bought their home. They realized that the pipes were corroded and absolutely destroyed, and they had to repipe the whole home. So that is something that, you want to make sure that you are knowledgeable, your realtor is knowledgeable, and I make sure all of my clients get all of their inspectors out there, because that minimal cost could save you thousands of dollars in the long run when it comes to buying a resale home. Now, not saying that all resale homes have these issues, but it's just good to know, because you don't know what's behind the walls. You don't know what's going on. So you want to make sure that besides taking the seller's, their seller property disclosure statement, which is something that they provide to you, which is basically an 8-page report that talks about all the things they know about the property, whether they know it or they don't. It just keeps them covered and you knowledgeable of what you're getting into. But it's so important to get your inspection done if you are doing a resale home, because you never know the issues that might pop up. Now, it's always great to make sure that if you are buying a resale home, if you are getting into, whether it's an older HVAC unit, older roof, and you could potentially ask for those things to be repaired or replaced. If that doesn't happen, a home warranty comes into huge play in that case. So there's not a whole lot of awful things that I have seen happen, but it's always making sure that you are covered, you know what you're buying into, because with new construction, you have warranties, you have coverage, you're buying a brand new home. It's highly unlikely, not saying impossible, highly unlikely that something awful would happen structurally or with the systems, but you are covered. With a resale home, not as much coverage. So you just want to make sure that you are going in eyes wide open and that you are getting inspections done and know what you are buying. Now, if you stayed until the end, great job, because this is something that barely anybody is talking about. At least any realtors that I know, they're not telling their clients, or just buyers do not know about this right now. And I think it is so important. But new construction interest rates versus resale interest rates. Now, you might think that, well, if I'm buying a home, aren't all the interest rates the same? No. So the conventional market right now with a 30-year fixed mortgage, the current interest rate is sitting at 7.02%. Now, so many people got so used to the unheard of interest rates from 4 years ago. Those were unheard of. They're never coming back. But 7.02, and that's keeping a lot of people from purchasing a home. And especially whether it's first-time home buyers or just buyers in general, it's making it, not favorable or just not doable because it's expensive. Something that they were able to afford 2 years ago is now almost, a third higher, which is crazy. But with new construction right now, so many of the builders are offering lower interest rates if you use their in-house lender and incentives. So I just had a client who closed on a Meritage home, and they locked in a 5.5% interest rate from year 2 through 30. So their first year, they did a buy down program that was offered through Meritage Homes. And the buy down program was the first year, their interest rate is 4.5%. And then year 2 through 30, it locked into a 5.5% interest rate. Besides that, so that's almost, 1.5 less than what the conventional rate is. And they also offered, besides that lower rate that they locked in on, that is theirs forever for as long as they own that home, they also got 1% of their closing costs covered, which means less money they have to come out of pocket. They got a full appliance package, which means they are getting whether GE, Whirlpool, refrigerator, washer, dryer, microwave, dishwasher, all of their appliances. So another few $1,000s that they do not have to spend. And then another thing that might seem boring, but it's very essential, especially here in Arizona, is they added in window coverings. So you never think of this, but you have probably at least a minimum of 10 to 15 windows in your home. They paid for all window coverings. So that's almost a saving of like $30,000 in that, besides their lower interest rate. So just to give you an idea, the conventional market rate right now, which is 7.2%, if you were to purchase a home at $400,000, your monthly payment would be around $3,200 a month. Now, my client who locked in at 5.5%, if they were to purchase at a $400 price point, their monthly payment is $2,800. So besides saving those few $100s a month, getting into a brand new home, and then also on top of that, not having to come out of pocket as much, and then getting all of their appliances, window coverings, everything thrown in, it's just kind of a no-duh deal breaker. Like, why would you not be doing this? So many people don't know about it. So if interest rates are something that is holding you back from purchasing, there are some amazing options, and that would be new construction. If they're not holding you back at all and you're not worried about that, it doesn't make a difference, and you just do not want to do new construction, resale is also a great option. But for my buyers that, those interest rates are really holding them back, this is such a huge option and such a deal breaker, I think, for so many people, that it makes it affordable and more normal to be able to purchase a home in today's current marketplace. So I think that is something so important to share with traditional lending rates versus new construction lending rates. Well, that wraps up the video. I hope this was helpful. I know sometimes it can be a little bit challenging, or you just don't know the difference between the options of new construction versus resale. So I do hope that this brought some clarity to you if that was something you were looking into. And also too, again, those lower interest rates, I think those are so good for people to know about. So great option. But if you'd like to get any more information about Tucson, if you're looking to relocate, I'd love to help you. You can set up a one-on-one call with me. You can either text, call, email, whatever is easiest for you. I would love to help. But I look forward to seeing you in the next video.